board now and they're beginning to unload in the rain. Here we've got quite a lot of food. In these sacks here, there's enough apparently for 5 families to last 3 days. We've also got boxes of what looks like noodles and a lot of water here. A lot of people in town saying water is the one thing that they really need. Now the back of the ship, you can see we've got a Red Cross vehicle there, what looks like an ambulance and military, and there's also quite a lot of rice that they're wanting to bring into town. That's one of the big staple foods here. So the first aid is arriving, but to be honest, given the scale of the situation in Tacloban, it's not that much stuff. They're going to need much more than this. And while we've got aid coming into Tacloban over there, there are thousands of people trying to get out of the city. So many of them have lost their homes. This ship here is going to evacuate 1,000 people from Tacloban. These people have packed up their bags, whatever they've still got left. Many of them will have lost their homes. And these are the ones who are lucky enough to have got a ticket. At the gates of the port, it's a different story. These people are all desperate to get on board that ship, but they don't have a ticket. And the one thing we've heard constantly over the last few days, and we're hearing it here, is there's no food and there's no water in Tacloban, and that's why they're wanting to get out. There are also rumours that things are becoming more violent, that people are beginning to attack each other for food, houses are being burgled. Now, at the moment, those sort of things are rumours, but when people are desperate like this, such rumours can spread quickly. The aid is now coming in. It's beginning to arrive. What's needed is to get it out to the people.
John Donaldson there in Tacloban for us. Well, it's still not clear how many people have died in the typhoon. The Philippines government says it's around 2,200, but it accepts that that figure could yet, of course, rise. Well, mass burials have been taking place in Tacloban. Eyewitnesses have reported a growing threat to public health, with dozens of corpses still lying on the streets. It's not clear if these victims have all been identified or if they've been included in the official number of people known to have died. Well, the United Nations humanitarian chief, Valerie Amos, who's in Manila, has admitted that the UN has failed survivors of Typhoon Haiyan by responding too slowly. She says there are still some parts of the Philippines where people are in desperate need, which the UN's been unable to reach.
I think we are all extremely distressed that this is day 6 and we have not managed to reach everyone. I do feel that we have let people down because we have not been able to get in more quickly. But at the same time, I can see, and I was able to see yesterday, that our operations are scaling up significantly.
Baroness Amos, well, countries around the world have pledged hundreds of millions of dollars to help the survivors, but with roads still blocked and fuel in short supply, getting supplies to them, as we keep hearing from our correspondents on the ground, is still a huge logistical challenge. The BBC's Rico Hizon has been to Cebu Airport, which has become a major hub for the relief effort.
This plane, which has just landed, is the second from the UK government, which has committed £15 million worth of relief aid. It contains shelter kits, tarpaulins, and water delivery equipment from the UK's distribution house in Dubai. From here, these relief goods will be loaded into trucks and then sent out into the field to the local partners, then afterwards distributed to the affected people in the typhoon affected areas.
The capability that the United States and the UK will now have from this weekend onwards is a new route to deliver, with cargo being taken to some of the more remote islands and places that have not yet been reached.
It is not just the UK, but here at the tarmac of the airport we're seeing dozens of international cargo aircraft from Indonesia, Russia, and Israel unloading tons of relief goods, from heavy equipment to medicines, water, and other relief supplies. Because the Philippine government has said that on its own, this is the biggest logistical operation that the country has ever seen.
Rico Hizon there for us. Well, the Philippines government says it is doing all it can to help its people. It's distributing 50,000 food packs a day containing rice and canned food. The Philippines Cabinet Secretary Rene Almendros has been speaking to the BBC's Leisha Chi.
This is the largest logistics operation that we've ever done in the history of the Philippines. There's nothing like this has ever been done before. The volume of food packs, the volume of rice, the volume of canned goods that is being handled, repacked, and transported now has never been done in this magnitude. Now, you add the situation of a destroyed logistics system, destroyed airport, your ports are still, there's still question. So many things were thrown off into the water. There's question whether the draft is good enough for some of the big boats that are coming. You have a total destruction of some communities, plus the fact that the local government, which is key to any disaster response that we have, was completely in shambles. We have our problems. We're not saying we're good or great. No, we're a poor country. But considering what we have been through the past 4 months, I think we're doing quite well. I mean, you get hit with a major earthquake and then you get hit with a storm like this. The Filipino is going to stand up. The Filipinos' resiliency will be proven by this crisis.
There is a sense that law and order may be breaking down in some of the worst affected areas.
Since the Philippine National Police moved in last Sunday, and the armed forces have moved in, even Tacloban themselves, the residents are already saying it. There's no more looting in Tacloban. They're already, the military and the police are already in control.
Well, the BBC's Andrew Harding has been to the remote coastal area of Tai, which has been completely devastated.
This is where the storm first hit land. It's an isolated village called Tai, right on the coast, and as you can see, the devastation here is complete and spectacular. No houses standing, a lot of people killed, washed out to sea when the floods came running over the land here. Most of the damage, though, done by the wind. There is literally nothing left standing here. What's interesting is that although this was the first to be hit, it seems to be one of the last areas in the Philippines to get really any significant aid. This place has been cut off for many days because of the storm damage. There is, though, a big runway just up the road there, and that finally is open, and we started today to see the very first big cargo flights coming in to bring aid. A little bit further beyond that is the town of Giwan, and that is also completely leveled, and there have been really serious problems with looting and desperation as people waited for the outside world to get to them and to bring help. What I can say now is that that town is much calmer. The local authorities do seem to be in control, and while people are pretty desperate, supplies are getting in, people are queuing in a much more orderly fashion now for things, and generally there is a sense of some law and order in town.
Andrew Harding reporting for us from Tai. If you want to find out more about what's going on in the Philippines, do of course go to the website. We're going to move on now to the rest of the day's news, and Sri Lanka's president